Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of Chakraboosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And today I'm going to talk about something that everybody's been talking about, the coronavirus. But I'm going to talk about it in a way that nobody's been talking about it, and that is in regard to the chakras. My plan for this video is to first do a meditation to just show you how easy it is to align the chakras for more energy flow and to get into the balance of the heart and the immunity of the heart chakra. Your heart chakra is your balance point in your chakra field, and it's also the place where your immunity comes from. And then we're going to talk about what it looks like to have a healthy response to this pandemic, right, that's going on in the world right now in each chakra. What does it look like for each chakra to be in alignment with your healthiest choices at this time? And finally, I want to talk a little bit about the numerology of coronavirus because it's interesting. And I'm not a numerologist expert at all, a numerology expert, I'm not. But I'm fascinated with it, as I am with so many ologies, right? And I wanted to share with you some information around that because I think it's very, very interesting. There's some real divine stuff happening right now, some real resets, and I think knowing the bigger spiritual picture, the bigger possibilities around something such as the coronavirus really helps us to deal with it in the best way possible. So first, let's do a meditation. If you haven't already, find yourself a comfortable seated position. If you're listening to this somehow when you're driving or doing machinery or something, then please just forward through this part because it's not to be done when you're doing those other things. But if you can settle in and find your feet on the ground and relax into your breath and close your eyes. Close your eyes and go into your inner world. And feel the natural cadence of your breath. Notice the natural way that your body expands with the inhale and releases and relaxes with the exhale. Notice also how your breath moves like waves coming into the shore, in and out. There's a natural rhythm here. That's your rhythm. Just allow that rhythm to be and get in touch with it right now. And then bring your hands to your heart center. So one hand on top of the other. And feel the green chakra in the center of your field. You may want to imagine the bright green of a go light and a traffic signal. And as you breathe in and out, imagine this green is pulsating. And on your next exhale, send the energy down your body through your legs into the earth. Inhale again and draw energy up from the earth to your heart. On the exhale, send it back down with love to this core of Mother Earth. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, send it back. And as you do this a few more times with the natural rhythm of your breath, feel the safety this creates. Feel your natural connection to Mother Earth. Feel the vitality that comes from that earth energy as you draw it up. And feel the loving connection you create as you exhale back down. And since your hands are on your chest, it's a nice time to just feel the pulsation of your breath rising and falling in the chest, expanding and relaxing in the chest. Now, the next time you draw energy up from the earth on the inhale, instead of sending it down, send that energy upward to the sky on the exhale. Opening your crown, inhale from the sky down into your heart. And hold it here. And then give it back to Mother Earth. Exhale it all the way down. Inhale again from Mother Earth to your heart. Hold it. Exhale to the sky, opening that crown even more. Inhale from the sky like a funnel down into the heart. And exhale down into Mother Earth. One more time. Inhale from Mother Earth up into your heart. Exhale to the sky. Inhale from the sky down into your heart. Exhale, planting that love down deep into the core of Mother Earth. Now imagine that this value of energy up and down that you've created continues without any effort on your part, clearing and centering. And feel how it causes you to beautifully balance in your heart center. And for a moment, imagine a white light here. A white light in your heart. A light of purity, of crystalline connection to the divine. And now imagine that this white light moves wider and wider throughout your entire body, enlivening every cell. Literally lighting up every cell, cleansing every cell, cleansing your very DNA. Feel the purity moving through your body. Feel the balanced love energy in your heart. And when you're ready, gently release your hands and open your eyes. Now, I did that one with you. My eyes were closed the entire time. It was fun. I really needed that myself. I wanted to get centered and share that gift of heart-boosting immunity with you and actually being with you in it. Okay, beautiful soul, let's talk about what it looks like in each chakra to have a healthy response to this coronavirus situation on the planet. We're going to start at the root and work our way up. And I'm first going to show you what the unhealthy response looks like, because that just helps us to learn, right? And to know where we're at. So I have so many videos explaining the chakras, so I'm not going to re-explain them here. Please just go see any of my videos. I re-explain them in almost every video. But the root chakra is the first chakra. So we're going to start there, work our way up. In the root chakra, an unhealthy response looks like lots and lots of fear and obsession with the situation. So, and obviously, since all of us have our focus on this to one degree or another right now, if fear rules, it's going to rule and be a virus that's worse than the coronavirus itself, right? Because collectively, we create the energy of the planet. So if you are focusing on, oh my God, am I going to get this? Oh my God, the world's going to end. Oh my God, anything that starts with, oh my God, ... and leads to total obsession. It's playing in your mind. It's running over and over. It's causing you to want to do all kinds of things that are survivalistic or obsessive. Now, right now, there needs to be a wise concern for spreading germs, right? So it's actually not obsessive to wash your hands. I mean, in a way that would have been considered OCD a couple months ago, it's not now. You can wash your hands as much as possible, and you can stay in as much as possible, because together we need to make wise precautions, and that is the positive side of Root. Root will take security measures and will create boundaries. And certain types of boundaries and quarantines and such are needed right now to stop the physical spread of the virus. Now, this is interesting because the upper chakras know that we're all one. The spirit knows we're all one energetically, right? We're all one, but we're still different slices of the divine, even though we all are divine. So we do have oneness, but we still do have separate DNA, separate fingerprints, separate bodies. We are separate beings. So this is a time when we're being asked to value our oneness, even realize how we could spread something to another, but at the same time honor that we are individuals and need boundaries. In the spiritual realm, often empaths, people like myself, maybe you and my tribe, we can lack boundaries. And my guides have been telling us a lot the last few months about, well, this last year, about, in the energy forecasts I've been giving you, about boundaries. It keeps coming up, this subject of boundaries. So I think this is a very real world lesson around boundaries and honoring our separateness, our uniqueness in our oneness. Okay? So, unhealthy response, fear, thought loops around fear, obsession around security. Now remember, just washing hands and doing things and staying home, those are smart, wise decisions, which is the healthy response. Healthy response is to allow your mind to go about your day, your normal day, but to have good precautions, consistent, because remember, the root chakra is about consistency, consistent precautions, consistent boundaries. Chakra number 2, the sacral chakra, is the water chakra. And it's not about boundaries, and it's not about precautions and being serious. So negative response here would be to be overly in denial of what's happening and to be irresponsible to the point where you're actually endangering self and others. The sacral can be immature. It's the childlike, joyful, fun chakra. So when it's overblown and unhealthy, it doesn't make mature decisions. So that would be unhealthy, to be in denial. Let's say you can't handle it, so you're ignoring it and pretending like it doesn't exist, or you're drinking or taking drugs or eating too much or doing too much social media, any kind of thing where you're just really diving into escape. Which, by the way, is also part of root, because root is about addiction. So if your escape is turning into an addiction or is an addiction, then that would be both root and sacral. The positive response here is to keep your childlike joy of life and your play alive through this, and to emphasize your intimacy. So there's a lot of time right now where we're being quarantined in family situations with our partner, where we can actually build intimacy. We can all sit around and be on the internet and be in our separate little bubbles even while we're physically together, or we can actually be intimate We can communicate, exchange, be in deeper, richer relationship. So if you can be in that deeper, richer relationship, that would be a positive response in a sacral way. If you can be in playful joy, even in the midst of all this, that would be a positive sacral response. And if you can honor your inner child, okay, like be there for your inner child right now, that would be a positive sacral response. Let's look at chakra number 3, the solar plexus chakra. This is the chakra of fire and courage and getting things done, you know, the go for it chakra. And it's masculine again. So a negative response in the solar plexus chakra would be a very me response. We are so, can you feel it? We are so not in a me time. We are in this together time. So a negative solar response would be to be selfish, to not share, to go and buy goods and not want to share them with anyone, and to be rude to people if you're in line buying goods, and to make this about you and to be taking precautionary actions in a masculine way, but to be doing so without heart and without awareness that we're all in this together. That would be the negative of the solar plexus. The positive of the solar plexus, and the other negative for the solar plexus is the solar plexus is about empowerment. So if you are feeling like a victim, like you're not a part of creating what happens to you in this, that you don't have any say, or it's all one big conspiracy against you or others like you or whatever, this would be more of a negative response in the solar plexus. A positive response from the solar plexus would be to use your courage for the collective. To be courageous for the collective, whatever that looks like for you, okay? And to make empowering choices, to be clear about your choices. I remember a girlfriend sent out an email, and she sent it out to her tribe, and I just loved it because it was so solar plexy. She was really honoring that my family and I have decided that we're doing this, this, and this. It was very clear, and it was very good for that reason. And taking matters into your own hands while also considering the collective, doing it even for the collective rather than for just yourself. That's really positive solar plexus energy. In the heart, okay, for the heart, it's pretty simple. A negative response would be closing your emotions to others. It's similar to the solar plexus, right? It would be closing the heart to others right now, or that's it, like sequestering and not finding ways to connect, because we do have still, as I'm speaking to you now, internet and abilities to connect in deep ways. Even if we can't physically be with someone. So the negative response would be to isolate yourself and to not trust and to feel like anyone's a danger or everyone's a danger. Can you feel that? And the positive response would be to open your heart to the collective, to the deeper meaning of what's going on right now, and that we're all in this together. We really are. There's no way we're not. We're on this small planet. This is finally something that's really letting us know that. So can you open your heart? Can you let this pandemic create more love, not less? That would be the positive heart response. And more of a desire to connect with your loved ones and your friends, and more of a willingness to be loving and patient and sharing even with strangers, because again, we're all in this together. The throat chakra. Now in the throat chakra, I've got a few notes here. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Is the negative response would be, because the throat is the beginning of the upper chakras, the spiritual realm. And it's always about growth and change and innovation and renewed invention of self and society. and inspiration that comes from really good communication that causes those kinds of innovations and changes. So the negative here would be to not be open to the growth possibilities from this, to be only seeing the negative, to be closing down, to not actually see that we can use this for the positive. The positive response in the throat would be to inspire others. It's a time, whenever there are things going on in the world that scare people, it's a time to band together and to use your authentic self and your communication to inspire others. Now, I don't know if you saw this. I have not watched much news. I keep myself, again, because solar plexus, I have a solar plexus destiny. I make my choices. I pick and choose. I really pick and choose what I look at news-wise. It keeps me empowered. And I advise you to do the same, right? To not just take what you're getting en masse. But because of that, I don't see a lot, but I did see a very sweet story about Italy where people are standing out on their balconies. They're in quarantine right now. The whole country's on lockdown, at least at the time of this recording. And they're singing these national songs, or songs that are well known, these Italian songs that are inspiring and that connect them. It's just so beautiful. You can go look at a video. When you're done with this video, go to videos on YouTube where you just search for that, for people singing in Italy to inspire each other. So you can sing. What's your version of the singing? How do you inspire your loved one and friends? How do you inspire strangers? How do you inspire yourself to get the most out of what's happening right now? Every single situation can have positive or negative aspects. This one's allowing us to stay home. So are you making the most of that time with family and friends if you're at home? And if you're alone, are you reaching out in electronic ways so that you can still share energy with the people you love and are connected with? And in general, are you inspiring yourself with your own thoughts and where you're focusing? And are you trusting? Because again, the heart is about trust, but trust of the universe, that type of trust, is from the upper chakras. That goes the 5th, 6th, and 7th chakra. The throat, the third eye, and the crown are specialists in trusting the universe. So as you begin to come into the magic of the throat, are you inspiring yourself and others? The third eye invites us, of course, to listen to our deepest knowing. It teaches us the deep lessons. It gives us calm in the storm. It tells us how we are unique and we don't have to go with what everyone else is doing. Can you feel that? So a negative way of responding from the third eye would be to not listen to your intuition, to not listen to your inner voice at this key time when it's so important to listen to what's right for you. Really feel into that. It's so important. It seems simple, but it's super, super, super important. And another element that people sometimes don't know that's related to the third eye is seeing beauty. Seeing beauty. So can you look around right now at this time when there appears to be more threat than there was before, and actually see beauty in everything? Because we can allow this 3D world that does present time boundaries, right? We're all going to pass. This 3D world serves the purpose for us of being able to really appreciate the things around us because they are going to pass, and we're even going to pass. So in this time of heightened awareness, can you appreciate the beauty around you even more? Yourself, your loved ones, the trees outside, whatever it is. I've talked before about in American Beauty, they have the bag that blows in the wind. It's a paper bag. But can you look at a paper bag and see the beauty? Can you look at anything that would blow in the wind and see the beauty? And then finally, the crown. Now, I'll get back to this in a moment, but I have to point out right now that corona means crown. And I don't think that's a coincidence. Also, March is a 7-month in numerology, right? So we have, because we're March 2020, 3-2020. So it's 3 plus 2 plus 2 is 7, which is the crown chakra. It relates to consciousness. It relates to waking up. It relates to what we're stepping into right now, the age of Aquarius. So the crown is very important in this. And I think a negative response crown-wise would be to see this as the end of, as a godless period, as a period where, you know, and I don't think you and my tribe are probably doing this, or you wouldn't be watching this video most likely. But if you are getting a little sense, if you're getting sometimes on that border of being so scared that you're asking yourself, is there a God? Is there an order? That would be the negative response or behavior for the crown. And the positive would be to trust. Trust the underlying order. Trust that even in chaos, it's just, things are just being rearranged. They're being broken apart and broken down in a Kali type death cycle that's allowing them to emerge in a whole new way. And I'm not an astrologer, but astrologers have talked about forever, like 10 years, about January 2020 and the stellium and how power structures were going to change. And boy, are they going to. And this is already doing it. And I was curious. I knew it would happen, but I was curious how it would happen. Weren't you? I was like, how is that going to happen? These power structures have been around forever. But indeed, this is a huge, huge shakeup, and it's asking us to take responsibility. It's asking us to wake up personally. It's asking us to wake up to the collective, that we're on a rather small planet with a lot of people, and that we are connected, that everything we do affects each other. So the positive response here to Crown is to wake up and to trust in the chaos, in the change. And you have more reasons to do so because of the fact that coronavirus, the coronavirus itself, corona means crown. Okay, so that's a perfect dovetail. I've shown you some ways that you can check to see that you're in your chakras, that you're responding healthy in each one. And if one of those in particular was you were responding in a negative way, you might want to go and do a little bit of loving healing on that particular chakra. Just give it a little focus, give it a little time, do some of my exercises. I have literally dozens and dozens with over 300 chakra videos on this channel. Help yourself. It's all free. So let's talk about the numerology just for a moment. I'm not a numerologist any more than I'm an astrologer. I'm just a big fan of all of it and all the ologies because they cross over, and I have found over the years that they just do not contradict. They overlap and they embellish on each other, and they actually, what's the word I'm looking for? They give more validity to each other because they seem to say the same thing. So it's interesting. I'm going to do the simplest numerology, just the regular Western world numerology for the personality self is how we say it if it was a person, but it's for coronavirus. So when we look at coronavirus, you have this outer energy, then you have inner energy, and then you have the combination, which gives you the full personality. Well, the outer energy here is 4, which is heart, and it's also about stability. The 4 in numerology looks a lot like it's related to earth, which is interesting because you need root and earth energy to open the heart. So I have no problem with that because it all goes together in my mind. But the heart is also about immunity and healing and oneness and balance. So here is this thing, it's this disease, right? And remember, in homeopathy, you take a little bit of the disease and you give it for wellness. And maybe this is a little bit across a whole globe of this little thing called a coronavirus, which actually has like they get like these little spikes. They're identified as corona because it has like these spike-like, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but an actual corona means crown, and it also means the light around something. So the light around, like the radiance, the corona around a light, around a sun would be like a ring around it, which is beautiful. We have beautiful numerology. We have a beautiful meaning. It's just interesting. And I think we can't ignore that. Okay. It's not like it's called the crap virus or something, which I don't think would be too beautiful. And I haven't done the numbers for, but coronavirus, we've come to know it as a negative thing. But when we really look at the name, it's actually a positive word, and it means the highest spiritual, the crown. But anyway, the outer image, the outer self, as it were, is heart. So it's outwardly causing us to come together and become more one. Inwardly, and this works perfectly, it's a 7, which you get through the vowels of the name. You get the outer part by taking the values of the consonants of the name. So the inner self here is 7. Corona, crown, the crown chakra is 7, the divine. Again, that it's all good, it's all happening in divine order. It's instigating the change that has long been coming into the age of Aquarius, into more awareness, more awakening. We can't take things for granted. The number one thing, I'm an NLP practitioner among other things, and the number one thing in NLP, and you may have heard Tony Robbins say this a lot, is when you want to make a change, you do a pattern interrupt. You interrupt your old way of doing things. This is a gigantic pattern interrupt. And it's got the meaning of 4 and 7, which add up to a full meaning for the personality of the coronavirus, just coronavirus, as an 11. Again, the magical spiritual number, the number that dovetails with this era of the divine feminine. It's ushering in the divine feminine, more embodiment, more personal responsibility, us connecting as individuals on a globe rather than all these structures of hierarchy and patriarchy and, big business that's, power from the top down. That's all getting rearranged right now. I'm getting kind of excited because it's really interesting. And everything that's new requires some form of death, right? Or everything that's coming into a new order requires some sort of shakeup and chaos. And this is ours right now. So I just couldn't leave that out when I was looking at the numerology around coronavirus. So there you go. There you have it. That's my video. Go back daily and play that short little meditation so that you can keep your immunity strong and keep yourself in your heart during this time, or any time actually you can do that meditation, and check in to see if you're having healthy responses in each of your chakras, in the power of each of your chakras, and realize that there's more than meets the eye going on right now with this shakeup, that it's divinely led. It's the natural unfolding after the stellium of January 2020 that has been called forth for a decade, that's been talked about for a decade. And just remember that it's all unfolding for us. It's not happening to us. It's not happening to you. It's not happening to us. It's unfolding for us. The big game here, the big thing on this earth is spiritual growth. This is like the playground that we come to as souls to grow in a limited time-space continuum. Because when we're in pure divinity, there's nothing but pure divinity. But here we get to play. We get to have challenges. We get to have shakeups, we get to have changes, we get to have relationships, we get to have losses and gains, and you know the drill. So just in case that you've been thinking that I have been all butterflies and rainbows in this video, I want to say a couple things before I finish up here. One is I've been taking the spiritual perspective here because Lord knows we've got plenty of the secular perspective on the news. So I've been looking at the more vast implications for our culture. I've been looking at what could come out positively from this. But that does not mean that I'm ignoring the crisis itself. And I understand that we do have the possibility of quite a bit of people contracting this and passing from this. So we can't play it down. But I do want to point out that something's happening here, that we're all getting our attention stirred and pointed toward this coronavirus, when in actuality we've had more people dying annually just from food deprivation, just from starvation alone. And depending on the figures you look at, you get different numbers about world starvation. But it's huge. It's in the millions, and children are affected greatly. And this is particularly in Asia and Africa. But these are serious problems that stand between the haves and the have-nots. And so there's been that division. So we have been putting our heads in the sand. We have lots of ability now that we didn't have before to communicate across the globe. And we have distribution possibilities and things we didn't have before. So it's time for us to recognize these things that have been going on for years and years and years, like starvation, which has actually gone up over the last few years, surprisingly, in this modern age. And it's affecting millions, and even millions more are being affected by developmental issues for not even having the correct nutrition. So I bring this up because I want you to know that I am not indifferent by any means to any of us being in danger. I am just trying to bring a larger picture, because we have been ignoring that a subset of the world, the set in poverty, predominantly in Asia and Africa, have been affected by something that much of the Western world hasn't been affected by. So therefore, although it's still a problem in many parts of the Western world too, which shows you it's really a problem, but because of this, it's like we're fish in water, right? A fish in water doesn't feel water. Well, we've been around food issues, starvation problems on the planet for so long now that we've become immune to them. So the coronavirus, actually, the normal extrapolations of figures of people being affected aren't even as big as the people that die every year from malnutrition and food deprivation. So I'm not being light here. I'm just saying that this is a wake-up call. So let it be a wake-up call to be one, to care about each other. Not a wake-up call to be survivalistic and try to pit each other against each other, but rather a wake-up call that we're on this small globe together, and that we all affect each other, and that we have a oneness where we need to take everybody's good into account. Everybody's. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to end on a little more serious note so you could see that I'm not just being, like I said, rainbows and butterflies. I have looked at figures, and the truth is we've been in denial about some issues that affect people every year right now before this virus came along. And if this virus helps us, I just hope that it allows us to become more compassionate to each other and to create ways of dealing with world issues as a world, not as individual entities, countries that are concerned with only our own particular side of the situation. Yes, 2020, the year of the heart, the year of us coming into more collaboration, less top-down leadership, and more global community, more love, more spirituality, more embodied feminine energy, which is the 11. Okay, this has been a long video. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me. If you like this, please like or subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and share this video. We definitely need some counter programming regarding the coronavirus to the only things that are out there, the statistics and some of the gloom. So you might even want to go right now and look up the Italians singing to each other from their balconies. I know that inspires me. You inspire me for being part of my tribe. That's why I do this. I love you so much, and I will see you on the next video.